Is there such a thing as soulmates in Islam? Remember that hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, Al-arwah junudun mujannada, that souls are like conscripted soldiers? There's actually a really beautiful story behind that. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha says that there was this woman in Mecca that used to make everybody laugh. So she was the jokester of every gathering. And then when they made hijrah from Mecca to Medina, she meets a woman in Medina that's exactly like her, that makes everybody laugh in Medina. And the people were stunned at how similar they were. And when they mentioned that to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-arwah junudun mujannada. Souls are like conscripted soldiers. They incline towards one another based upon this natural affinity. So is there a romantic manifestation of that? Well, there's a scholar that said to his wife once that, isn't it amazing that 50,000 years before Allah introduced the heavens and the earth, He put your name down next to mine? وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And of His signs is that He created for you mates from amongst yourselves, that you can dwell with in tranquility. And He placed love and mercy between you. And in that is a sign for people who reflect. And when you meet someone, you can be so sure that that's the one. And there are multiple ways that love starts, and multiple layers to love. And it can certainly start with what seems like an organic spark. And Imam bin Hazm rahimahullah said, Al-hub awwaluhu hazlun wa akhiruhu jad. That love starts off as something very playful, and then it proceeds to something very serious. He goes on to say that its meanings are too profound to be described. Its reality can only be understood by experience. And he says, love is not blameworthy in our religion, nor is it forbidden, because every heart is in Allah's hands. So love itself is a test, and it's not fully in your control, especially the falling in love part. It's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees in your heart, and as long as you don't transgress the boundaries and you pursue it in a wholesome and halal way, then you can enjoy the blessing of this decree within the sanctity of marriage. Inna fi dhalika la'ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun. Indeed, in that are signs for people who reflect. And the scholars mention that there are signs of Allah's names and attributes that don't exist anywhere in this world, like they do between two spouses. There are unique signs of Allah's love as He is Al-Wadud, the most loving, and unique signs of Allah's rahmah, His mercy, as He is Ar-Rahman, that exist within the capacity of a marriage. Now, when you look at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, you have multiple love stories. Some of them are beautiful, others are tragic, and many of them are complicated. You have the story of Muhajir Qais, this man who makes hijrah from Mecca to Medina, not out of seeking Allah's love or trying to escape persecution, but all because he wanted to marry a woman, and that literally becomes his name, the man who migrated for Qais. Now you'll notice that the Prophet ﷺ doesn't condemn him for that, but he simply says that you can't claim the reward of hijrah if you did this for marriage. And then you have other stories. You have the story of Barira radiallahu ta'ala anha, a woman that was freed from slavery by Aisha radiallahu anha. And when she was freed from slavery, she chose to free herself from her husband, who was Mughith radiallahu anhu. And in Medina, you had the scene of Mughith going behind Barira, begging her not to leave him. And it was painful for people to watch, to the point that the Prophet ﷺ, in his mercy, feels so sorry for Mughith. And he says to his uncle Al-Abbas, isn't it astonishing how much Mughith loves her and how much Barira hates him? And the Prophet ﷺ felt so bad for him that he goes to Barira and says, will you not take him back? And she said, Ya Rasulullah, are you commanding me to do so? Or are you simply interceding? And the Prophet ﷺ said, no, I'm just interceding. And she says, I have no need for him, Ya Rasulullah. Now the Prophet ﷺ had so much sympathy for Mughith, but he didn't want to force them together just because Mughith really loved her. He was going through heartbreak, and the solution was simply for him to move on, because they weren't meant to be. As much as love is based on your desire, it's also based on your destiny. Your love story was written by Allah in the heavens before you both even came to this world. Allah created your love and created the means for your love.